Hi, I'm Laura Bisceglia, and I'm the clinical supervisor for our preschool program in our Long Island and Hudson Valley offices. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that's become very important during these times, and that is supporting the social emotional development of all kids, but today we're going to focus on our preschoolers. So why is social emotional learning important in preschool? Children at this age are learning rapidly, and it is essential that not only they learn ABCs, their numbers, how to identify colors, but how to get along with others and collaborate. When we look at the social and emotional aspect of working together through science, math, reading, all those academic subjects, and we add the social emotional aspect to it, that really balances their development out. If a child is trying to learn a subject or identify colors, it helps them if they're with a peer and they're exploring blocks together. It's just essential. I know a parent that said to me, my child likes to work alone. This is for an older kid. Likes to work alone. They're independent. They get good grades, academic minded, doesn't understand why it's important to also work with peers. And what I tried to say is you need to teach your child that when we get into the working world or just in general, you don't work solo. You learn, you interact, you have to be able to be successful in conversations, collaboration, and it's just very important. So that's just for our older kids, but it starts at the very young age. If we look about the social emotional developmental milestones for preschoolers, again, as with all milestones, not every kid does everything at the same time. So this is just a general guideline. At age 3, they may copy adults and friends, begin to show affection for friends without you having to say, be nice to your friend, give your friend a hug, goodbye, or hello, taking turns, beginning to become more independent with dressing and undressing, being able to show a wide range of emotions, separate more easily from family members. Then at age 4, they start to enjoy doing new things. They're learning, more creative, able to engage in make-believe play, cooperate with other children, pretending to be mom or dad, can tell what's real and what's make-believe. And then by age 5, understanding the more social aspects, pleasing friends, be like friends, understanding rules, beginning to sing, dance, and act, aware of gender, awareness of self, show obviously more independence, and can sometimes be demanding and sometimes cooperative, having that choice and ability to express themselves. So I really want to emphasize that these are milestones where a child could fall, but again, with everything that's developmental in nature, at a given point in time, a child may fall on one end or the other. In New York State, we have standards for social emotional development, and I think this is something that's becoming broadly used across our nation, not just because of everything going on with a pandemic that we're dealing with, but in general, education is seeing that getting support in the social area and emotional support isn't just for one child that maybe is having a crisis. It's something that is put in place for all children as part of their learning. And in schools, I know at least in New York where I'm from, we have guidance counselors, just like a lot of schools do across the country. And guidance counselors you typically think of as someone who is helping you with academics, getting into college and high school. Well, now we're seeing counselors that are in place in elementary schools, dealing more with the peer mediation, getting along. For our littlest ones, learning how to identify what an emotion is. And this isn't just like a one-time, 1 week in the school year. It's an ongoing push-in service that's becoming more and more widely available in our schools. So real quick, I'm going to go over some of the things that are important that are seen as social emotional competencies. So children, the number one is being self-aware. Developing a sense of who I am as a person is something that happens, as they get to be the preschool age. Most children will recognize themselves in a mirror by the age of 2. They begin to use language such as I, me, you, and my, seeing themselves as individuals as part of this bigger world. They can reflect on themselves, see what I did and how someone else might react. Self-management. And that's really what I want to focus on a lot during this workshop, is giving you tools that you can use with children during your sessions, because it is important that we give them tools and skills. So self-management, how can you teach patience and delayed gratification to a preschooler, right? Those are big words, so you don't use those words, but you teach them skills. Blowing bubbles. So if a child that you're working with, you think they maybe have some emotional difficulties, or just in general, it's a good skill to give any child, you blow bubbles, right? So you would blow bubbles with the child while they're, before they're upset. And when you blow them, you talk about how next time they're upset or mad or feeling strong emotions, they can call upon this skill. And in the moment, when the child's having maybe some sort of emotional outburst, let's blow bubbles to calm down. So breathe deeply and then blow out. And really that's a breathing exercise, but for a little kid to have that visual of, okay, when I was with Miss Samantha, we blew bubbles, and that was something that was fun and exciting, and it's forcing them to do that breathing motion without saying, okay, calm down and take a breath, right? No, you're calling upon that visual, which is really important in general for a lot of people that are visual learners, but for our littlest learners. This is something that's a test, a study that was done in the 60s about marshmallows, right? So this educator took 650 4-year-olds and videotaped them in a room with a marshmallow, saying that if you wait for the person to come back in, they would earn an additional marshmallow. So a little one sitting there with a marshmallow in front of them told, all right, if you eat that one, you don't get any more. If you wait, you can get more, right? So they did a study where they followed these kids years later when the kids were in high school. So those who had waited for the researcher to return and received an additional marshmallow, they referred to them as the delayers, so delaying gratification. They showed less incidence of behavioral problems at home and school, less mental health issues, and had higher SAT scores. So then even further down the road, they tracked those kids down again in their 30s, and the delayers again experienced less mental health issues, less behavioral problems, and lower body mass index. So you can see that those children that, when they were 4, they weren't being trained to delay gratification, or maybe something in their upbringing by their parents, they had a better outcome later in life. So that is just an example, one of many, why it's important for us to teach children at a younger age the skills to handle strong emotions, being able to be patient and delay gratification. Social awareness, right? Teaching a preschooler to share. That is a word that's used a lot in preschoolers. You make sharing fun. So, okay, let's work on a puzzle together. You're not going to work independently. Let's share with a friend. Build a tower together. Don't punish stinginess when they're holding back. Say instead, you're doing a great job sharing. Really great job when you catch them doing good things. That's always more effective than punishing behavior. Explain how another child might be feeling. So, you didn't share that toy with Johnny. How do you think Johnny feels when you don't? Remember the other day when Samantha didn't share a toy with you? How did that make you feel? Trying to get them to reflect and see how they feel and how the same action is making a friend feel. And then teach problem solving, right? So instead of saying, okay, that's your turn, then that's the next child's turn, use a timer, a visual that they can see. Okay, you get 2 minutes, then the next child gets 2 minutes. Remind them, okay, look, there's 1 more minute left on the timer. It's something that will help them prepare for having to share. Core social emotional competency number 4 is relationship skills, problem solving with a peer, asking for help, saying, okay, instead of you as the adult, as the teacher, as the parent, as the therapist, going in and positioning a doll or helping the child build a tower or complete that puzzle, suggest they ask a peer. Get help from a peer. Again, imagining how their behavior affects others, encouraging cooperation, giving a child the sense that you are part of this bigger environment and you're going to help. Put toys away, whether you play with them or not. Push the chairs in after snack time, and do it with a friend. So it's you and the friend working together to accomplish something. And again, putting words and explanations to feelings. Johnny is feeling sad because he misses his mommy. Offering kids choices to help them make responsible decision making. I use this a lot with my own kids when they were little. Instead of saying to them, do this, share the cars, offer a choice. Would you rather have the blue car or the red car? Okay, well, if you choose the blue car, that means your friend over here gets the red car. I use that a lot with my kids about cleaning up. You say, okay, do you want to clean up the Legos or the blocks? Instead of saying clean up, a generic cleanup, well, no, you are going to give them the power of choice, which makes the child more likely to comply and participate in what you're asking them to do. There's no power struggle. You're giving them right choice. You don't care what they clean up first or which car they choose, but you're giving them the sense that they're making a choice. Okay, so all this information, what are things that we can actually do with the children during sessions? You could start by doing an emotional check-in. How are you feeling? And those little, visuals are always important. An activity that you could do during a session is making a mood meter. Basically, taking some cardboard with those drawings, a little, flip of paper that sort of can indicate. You could use stickers, some way to give them a visual to sort of check in and tell you this is how I'm feeling. Asking them how they're feeling, seeing what their mood is to gauge, and giving them those words so that they can describe later on in the day or the next week with their parent, I'm angry, this is the way I feel. So very important. There are some activities that you can easily do it yourself that you can do with kids to work on exploring emotions, taking simple Easter eggs, where you have a happy face on the top, a sad face on the bottom, or different eyes and mouths making different emotions, and have them interchanging them, right? Matching the top to the bottom. Colorful, easy to make, and just fun. It's also a good idea to maybe have a mirror, or you can use the option on your phone to have the child look and make the matching emotion to the egg that they put together. And then label those emotions, say what that emotion is. And then if you're able to, or really enhance the discussion, well, what could someone do to be angry? Or what does someone do when they're angry? When has there been a time that you're sad? Sort of giving them not only the word and the visual, but now going deeper and saying what is something that happens that makes you feel this way, and what can we do about it? Obviously, reading is very important at this age. There are lots of books that are about feelings. Pout Pout Fish has a ton of different versions, Christmas ones, Halloween, and just helping a child see that they're not alone, and some fun ways to explore feelings. There's anger, having a crazy hair day, just important things, and also for parents, encouraging them to go to the library to get books. A lot of these books are available online, where they have either the parent or child can together read them online on their iPad, or there's some versions where a celebrity will read them to them. So just fun ways to explore, even if the parent maybe isn't financially able to go buy books, physically able because they can't get to the library, but just an easy way for them to have another resource at their fingertips. Making a face. So similar to the eggs, you can draw a face and then have little eyes, different mouth positions, and have the child have to put it together to make different emotions. There are also, for anyone who is doing virtual sessions, teletherapy at this time, you can go online and there are apps that you can get where you can do this with the child over the internet. If you forget to bring these in, in your bag of tricks, you forget to bring them to a session, that's something that you can call upon as well. But it would be really fun to, if you're able to make this with the child, this way you could say, okay, what would you draw for a happy face? What do happy eyes look like? And it's just a fun activity for them to use, very similar to the eggs. Another way to explore emotions, taking some simple rocks. You can use them, from the garden, bring some rocks in, paint them. If you think paint might be too messy for the child you're working with, you can also just use crayons, or chalk works very well. Again, a simple circle, and then you put the rocks. Just another way to, through art and creativity, explore emotions. This game is easy to create you can use a little teeny pair of dice too, but these are bigger ones that you can get. And you put various emotions on one of the die, and on the other you pick animals. So you take turns with the child where you roll them together, and then the child has to act out the emotion as the animal. You can, if you're not able to locate dice like these that are big, or even the smaller ones you think they're going to be too small, you could put names of animals in a little jar or a plastic bag and names of emotions, and then pull them out. And that's what you need to do. It's really fun if you, as the adult, also take a turn doing them. So that works on turn taking with the child. But just, again, another fun way, identifying animals and then also having to pair an emotion with it. So then visuals are important for child as they're learning to read. You can even create like a little picture that would go with this. Different ideas for how to calm down. Being active is very important. The endorphins that get released are very supportive of combating strong emotions and feelings. You can punch a pillow, you can run, do jumping jacks, all different things. These are just some ideas that kids can call upon. And then 5 other steps for managing emotions. Taking deep breaths, a lot of breathing is important, using words instead of anger and lashing out, asking for help, and just taking the time to calm down. So you could think of ways to have the child remember these. Maybe the hand that has 5 steps. You could label each hand, find out, each finger, find out what really is going to work for them. So self-regulation is an important part of all of this. Figuring out not just how to manage emotions with the adult who's around to prompt you and remind you, but hey, you can do this and call upon these skills on your own. So when a kid is, or even adults, right? When we're feeling strong emotions of anger or being stressed or sad, our brain sort of freezes and you can't make a rational decision. So if you're ever trying to talk to a child that's having a tantrum and trying to reason with them, you're not getting anywhere. They're not hearing you. That strong emotion has taken over everything. So having a child learn how to be mindful and giving them the space and skills and tools to call upon decreasing stress is very powerful. Regularly practicing mindfulness will reduce stress and increase wellness and self-control overall. So some ways we can do this are with glitter jars. And I have a recipe there for how to do it. But for me, I just made one at home, just a jar. And if you're going to be carrying this around with children, you probably want to use a plastic jar. And you just put the glitter in water. And it's something that obviously is pretty. It would be great if you can make it together with the child. And how you would use this is you would have the child take their glitter jar and look at the glitter as it falls. So while you're doing this, you're distracting them from maybe whatever emotion they were feeling. Also, as it's falling, you could have them breathe in and out. So it's just something as a distraction, simple, easy thing that you can make. And there are lots of different recipes and directions online. You could add food coloring to color the water. You could put in sequins, all different things, whatever you think the child will benefit from. Okay, sensory bottles are another way that you can help a child learn how to self-regulate. You could shake it. This one is just a bunch of ditalini pasta, dry. And then I put beads in it and different items. So not only is it good for, just getting some it's proprioceptive input for a child who maybe needs that sensory input. It's also good to use as a tool in your bag of tricks as something to work on finding and identifying items. So I have little, eyes, I have a dolphin, all different things. You could put anything you want in here that's small enough and say to the child, okay, can you name 3 items you can find in there? And then they can look around. So it has a few purposes. We have rainbow looms. So again, it's shaking it up and watching them go up and down. And as they go up and down, the child can, again, work on breathing, maybe refocusing. It's a good distraction, but a physical tool that they can hold that brings them to that place of calming down. This one's kind of cool. You could put paper clips in and use a magnet to drag them around. There are a ton of different options online, and they're all something for you to make yourself at home, so it's not an expensive thing that you go out and buy. It has a lot of variation, so you can tailor it to what the child needs. I did read, and I didn't have any available, that really the best bottles are those Voss water bottles. They just are really a nice size and evenly spaced, whereas these have a little bit of a curve at the top. But again, you use whatever is available to you. So some of the other breathing strategies and ideas, I really think, kids at this age, they need that visual. So two of them that I've seen used most commonly are to imagine a balloon. So you place your hands on your belly, inhale to blow up that balloon, and you feel your belly and lungs expand. Then you exhale to, let the air out and feel your balloon deflate. So that whole breathing in and out, but using the visual instead of saying to the child, okay, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, right? You have them have the visual of, okay, I'm blowing up a balloon and now I'm letting it deflate. Another visual is smelling flowers and blowing out the candle. So you smell the flowers in and you count, and then you blow out the flowers. So it's just giving them a visual of sniffing in to smell a flower and then blowing out. And when you're counting in between the in and out, it helps to relax your body. So instead of saying to a child, okay, breathe in and out, you can say, and kids love little cute sayings. Okay, I think it's time to smell some flowers, and don't forget to blow out the candles. And you could obviously use whatever is gonna work. If you think a child likes to smell cookies or whatever they like to smell, you use that. Yoga, and I visit in my days, I visit a lot of preschools and daycares around the New York City and Long Island area, and I have seen quite a few integrating a yoga component into their day. So there are a few reasons for this. It builds strength and flexibility, increases body awareness, balance, coordination, and it gives them emotional regulation tools. It develops their language and social skills, being able to hear different words, put their body, into different positions of now we're going to do a yoga pose. There's downward dog, right, upward dog. So different positions that they get into. One of the funnest ones I saw is that after recess, the teacher had all the children lay down, and each one of them they had to lay down on their backs, and each one of them got a little rubber duck on their stomachs, and they had to watch the duck float up and down, and it was really cute. The kids liked it. Some of their ducks fell off, but it was just a fun way to teach them the importance of relaxation and breathing. Learning about shapes, right? Okay, everyone, let's be a triangle. This is a position that looks like a circle, a star, a square. So all those things that they identify with blocks or pictures on the wall, well, now we're going to take that and integrate yoga with it. Okay, and then this I've seen used in quite a few circle times. It's called the Yoga Alphabet by Barry Carl, a video on YouTube. And basically it's every letter of the alphabet in a fun song where the children get into different positions as it goes along. None of them are crazy active where the child's going to go out of control during circle time. But they are active enough that it's not just like, okay, let's sit down for a minute and just say our ABCs slowly. So it's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy that.
A, you're an apple. B, a banana. C, you're a cat. Meow. And D, downward dog. E, you're an egg. And F is a forward bend. G, that feels good. H, I, roll up, say hi. Hi! J is a jump and K is a kick. L is a lunge, let's make it stick. Ha! M, N, say namaste. O is an ostrich, head in the hole. P is the time to pick your pose. Q, R, a snake with me. T, you're a T-Rex, hear me roar. You make a V 'cause you're so strong. W, we're in a chair. Extra special, why it's true. 'Cause we got to Z, me and you. Ta-da!
Barry Carl's great for having child yoga. Being a turtle, being a butterfly, a whole bunch of animals. So you're integrating shapes, you're integrating animals, all these things that preschoolers are starting to learn about, and you're adding the yoga. These are new books that are a lot like the Choose Your Own Adventure books that used to be available. And it's called What Should Danny Do? So it's an interactive book, and this probably would be for the older kids, like 4 and a half, 5, getting ready for school, where you follow this little boy Danny throughout his day, and you choose what, the child gets to say the choice that Danny makes based on a situation, and then you turn to that page. And you see, okay, what happened to Danny when he made this choice? What happened to Danny when he made that? So this book has become very popular. They made a follow-up one that is about Danny in school, so different situations, and then a one for girls called Darla, What Should Darla Do? So they're available on Amazon, not too expensive, but just something that's another way to help children see what happens when you make decisions and predicting and just starting that conversation. So when you want to work with preschools, daycares, and families, another thing that you can try to get them to create or integrate into their curriculum or their environment is a cozy corner, right? When a child becomes overwhelmed with strong emotions, instead of saying, okay, you need to sit down and calm down. Okay, well that's great, but the child is just being removed from the situation. You're not giving them any tools of how to really combat those emotions. Having a corner where there are some stuffed animals or something. You could include the visuals that are shown right there, the ones about calming down that I showed before. Having these available, little stress balls, things that will calm them down. And then this I've actually seen used. This is called a pop and waffle fidget. It's sold at Target actually for, in just the general section, not just even educational. And then on Amazon, it was like $8. And basically for a child or even adult, right, that likes to sort of pop bubble wrap, this is just something that easily, you can do it over and over again. And for some reason, it really helps the kids with calming down, that sensory input that sort of helps them with managing emotions. Okay, so that's all I have, and hopefully you get to try some of these out in your sessions and working with kids and families. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.